What is going on, my Elio friends? I hope you're having a great Sunday. I know I am, and I hope you had a great past week. I'm a little bit under the weather, but hey, that's not going to stop me from making our videos. Well, we can't really do a number count unless some of you guys know an insight on what's the actual remaining count, because today, on a Sunday, it still says right there 400 remaining, like what we had on our last show. So, what does that mean? Does that mean that no one else is putting any more money? Are people seeing that maybe this thing is not going to happen? Are people saying maybe this is a scam? What is it? A few shows ago, I know I showed you guys a clip from the interview out there in Louisiana, but that was a backstory for something else, and that's something that I want to share with you guys today.
We revealed the real reason Elio Motors may have fought hard to acquire Shreveport's former GM facility. The 100,000 square feet of space Elio rented and the equipment inside provided valuable collateral to generate millions in loans. But as I show you in this 3 News Investigates follow-up, the money wasn't necessarily used to build cars or provide jobs in Shreveport, but instead fund the pockets of its director and majority shareholders. In Elio Motors' most recent Securities and Exchange Commission filing, KTBS 3 News uncovers just how important Shreveport's former GM facility was to the company. Sure, Elio promised it would provide jobs and build its cars here, but filings with the SEC show the former GM facility and its equipment inside was primarily used to drum up cash and pay Elio's bills. Paul Elio, president of Elio Motors, spoke exclusively with KTBS 3. He says because of a non-disclosure agreement, he cannot disclose who purchased the equipment inside Shreveport's former GM building, but his financial records reveal he made a $4 million profit selling it. Who were the buyers for that equipment, and did you have a relationship with potential buyers before you were able to lease the building?
Building Elio Motors owns all the equipment inside. So the equipment is Elio Motors, the building is Shreveport Business Parks, and then we lease it back. On the equipment sales, they've been sold to a variety of folks. I don't really know the details on it.
On February 8, 2013, a $9.8 million loan was secured on the acquisition of machinery and equipment inside the former GM facility. It was then sold to Stuart Lichter, one of Elio Motors' directors and majority shareholders, to decrease his interest from 12 to 10%. Lichter also has an affiliation with Shreveport Business Park, which leased Elio the former GM facility. On March 3, 2013, another $23 million promissory note was entered with Racer Trust, secured by a loan on the manufacturing machinery and equipment held in Shreveport. Both loans now in default, soaring its interest rate to 18%. To pay the debt, Elio secured convertible notes and awarded them to, quote, multiple individuals and trusts. In return, Elio Motors received an advance of almost $2.5 million from an undisclosed director and stockholder in the company. But instead of a cash transaction, Elio received a convertible unsecured note with an agreement Elio's director and shareholder could sell up to 2,500 shares per week as long as the price per share was above $19.50. By the year 2014, more promissory notes were made, secured by former GM equipment, with an undisclosed director and stockholder of the company. June 19, 2014, for $600,000. March 6, 2014, for another $1 million. May 30, 2014, for another promissory note for $300,000. And by September 30, 2016, SEC filings show Elio Motors received additional advances for $3 million. To date, Elio reports it has spent $59 million developing 5 prototype cars, but has accrued over $44 million in loans, all backed and secured by equipment inside the Shreveport plant, whereas of September 2016, $4 million of it had been sold. And in return, what has Shreveport received? Another deal that defers payment. Back on November 2016, Elio entered into a lease amendment that converted $5.5 million of accrued rent, taxes, and insurance into shares of preferred stock that delays payment until Elio begins building the three-wheeled vehicles, which has been pushed back until 2018. Paul, you have your critics. I know you're aware of that. Some even say that your company is a fraud. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have patience for folks who are skeptical, because what we're doing is hard, and everybody has a different level of skepticism. People that say fraud, I have no patience for. I mean, if you look at what we've done, we've developed our own engine, for instance. We have achieved milestone after milestone, and clearly we are going to build this vehicle, I believe, but you can't deny that this is an honest, sincere attempt to create something very special.
It is important to note the company is in $123 million accumulated deficit. That's debt that they owe. We spoke to financial experts, and they say how Elio has used loans and financing to pay off compounding interest to Elio's directors and shareholders is completely legal. But Elio could have other legal issues, particularly with the Louisiana Motor Vehicle Commission. Last month, Elio did not attend a meeting with Louisiana officials about possible state law violations regarding the sale of reservations for its cars. Elio says it was unaware of the meeting, but the LMVC will meet again in early March, where Elio could be asked to show up for the full public commission hearing. We have, however, provided information on our website on how to get your refund back and Paul Elio's full uninterrupted interview on KTBS.com.
I know that this video is kind of old, but I've been meaning to share it, and some of you guys will probably say, hey, dude, this is old news or whatever. But you know what? There's some people that, don't have time to be searching for Elio news, and I'm hoping that I can provide some of that info to you guys, even though some of you guys would say that it's old. So let me ask you guys this. Now, they're working on the E-Series vehicles, and from what they were saying from that video, they are $128 million in debt. Now, some of you guys are more aware with how cars are being made and the costs and things like that. My question is, how much do you guys think it costs to, and I know the engineering part as well, but to actually build one vehicle? Right? I mean, is it like $1 million to build one of those vehicles? And I know every single one of those E-Series are different because they're not fully, I know that they're not a full functioning vehicle, because some of them are only going to be built without certain parts because they're only being tested for certain things, right? So with the money that they spent, wouldn't that equate to at least having all the E-Series done? So this week's blog, they just kind of have like a question about the lighting and things like that. They're saying that LED will probably be an option. And someone had a question that from a previous blog that they're going to be using a 120 amp alternator. And Elio Motors says that they're going to decide to go with a 120 amp alternator to satisfy the power demands of the vehicle to drive, but also to provide enough power for possible options. Let's see what else. They ask if there's going to be lights on the fender for increased visibility. Right now, they're saying that it depends on the demand. So at this time, they're not planning to offer it. But maybe it will come up in the future. If you don't offer LED lights as standard equipment, will they be available as an option? Again, they said that they're working on with the suppliers to determine that if it's even viable to have it as an option. And the fog lights, they did say that yes, we're going to be offering fog lights as an option. And the daytime running lights, they're talking about and the daytime running lights. Elio Motors says at this stage we do not plan to be offering any daytime running lights as a standard equipment, but I'm sure if this car comes to market that will be an option. So anyways, guys, that is our show for this week. I hope you guys have an awesome week. Try and stay positive out there. not just about this car, just how you go with your life. And I do hope that you have an awesome week, and I will talk to you guys next week. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share, and don't forget to join us on our Facebook page, Elio Owners of America. Go ahead and check that out, and we'll hope to see you guys there. So I'll talk to you guys next week.